Alright guys, so some of you may have read my post on the forum. I just wanted to give you guys a quick video run through of the Chinese Android Headunit that I purchased from AliExpress. It was, I believe, $330 plus like 55-60 bucks to ship over here. So altogether it was $380 by the time it got to my door. Put it in. This is what it looks like installed. This is a cold boot, so you guys can see that. We'll start all the way from scratch with this so you can get kind of a feel of what the boot time is on it. It's not long. It's about 25 to 30 seconds, which sounds like a while, but when you get in the car, you turn it on, and by the time you're moving, it's normally ready to go. So it's going to boot into Automate, which is an app that's designed for phones to mimic the look and feel of Android Auto. But in this case, I have it on here to mimic the look and feel of Android Auto. So this is the home screen of Automate. This is what you get. You get some cards. You can come over here for music. I got Google Play Music, which is my standard one. I got Pocket Cast, TuneIn. Those are the ones I usually use. And real quick, I'll go through a rundown of the installation and everything with you guys. I don't have pictures, unfortunately, really, of installation minus what's on the post. I was just trying to get it in and over with. But basically, I took the old units out. My vents didn't want to come out with the unit for some reason. Made things a real pain in the butt. Put this stuff in. I've got in my glove box just a mess of wires right now that I need to clean up. Definitely, if you have a GPS antenna, I would say get the FACRA adapter to just use the antenna on the roof. It's a lot cleaner when everything's done. You do need an antenna adapter, or not an adapter, but an extension. If you're in North America where we have screens and the MIB system, typically the wiring harness for these cars everywhere else, if you have like the super baseline radio, ends in the dashboard here, in the center of it. But ours is over there. So the antenna wire goes there and doesn't make it over to here. So you'll need that. What else? That's basically it for the installation. I'll grab the camera and get a couple shots of my USB auxiliary that I have in the little storage compartment here. Originally, I wanted to run this off of a hotspot to get the internet to it. I decided against that because the hotspot seemed like it was eating through data even though I wasn't using it, because I had it on all the time just so I didn't have to. The boot up time on the Wi-Fi adapter is like a minute or something. It takes forever. So what I did instead is I have Tasker running on my phone. As you can see, this Tasker, I've got one active profile. Basically what happens, my hotspot is on, and I have this hooked up to Bluetooth on the unit. So as soon as Bluetooth connects on the phone, it turns on the Wi-Fi hotspot. So I don't have to do anything. It can stay in my pocket. I normally throw it in the cubby, but then it's good to go. So basically, what you've got going on here, this is Automate. This is a home screen. It shows you where you are, how fast you're going. We're not going anywhere. We're parked. The current music that's playing. If you're navigating somewhere, you'll get a card. If you have a calendar event, you'll get a card. If it has an address in the calendar event, you hit it and it starts navigating. You saw earlier, I've got Google Play Music. If you go back home and you hit this little bar over here, it gives you your different options for your music services. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think this is the thing with Automate. But if you hold this button, you should get a list of apps. It's very hit or miss, and when I say very hit or miss, I mean it doesn't work probably 95% of the time. And I've had this problem with this app on a few other devices, but Luckily, I'm not driving down the road trying to use apps. So, worst case scenario, you come over here, you hit exit to exit out of Automate. And this is basically the stock factory home screen that you get with this thing, which tries to mimic iOS for some reason. But anyway, you might see this Android Wear icon and be like, what's that for? That's the only way to get Automate to read Hangouts messages to you. You don't need to open it. You don't need to configure it. You just need to have it. But basically, these are the apps that it comes with. You get your AVN, Bluetooth, you get a web browser, stuff like that. Car record is if you have a dash cam hooked up. I installed Chrome. Control settings is how you access the car's menu. It's one of them. So this will go through and you can toggle the ESC on or off with this. And it actually shows up. I don't think you can see my gauge cluster, but it actually gives you confirmation on the gauge cluster that's working. A lot of these things are things that I don't have on my car. A lot of things you can't get in North America. But I'm under the impression that if you have these, the CAN bus should be able to read it, and it should be able to adjust the settings accordingly. The only thing that I've not been able to find in this unit at all is a way to reset the TPMS system, which isn't a problem right now, but I'm planning on getting another set of wheels eventually, and it will be a problem then. So I'm either going to have to figure out a way to, I've been looking into rigging up a Mark 6 TPMS button in my glove box where I'm putting a blank off plate, and then wiring that into this system somehow. But if not, I might just use a VCDS tool that I'm eventually probably going to buy. Moving on, some of the apps that I've put in here, Gas Buddy. This car is a TDI. So when you're driving down the road and you're running low on diesel, it's actually a lot harder to find diesel than you might think sometimes. So that helps me find that. This app right here, Headunit, is a very key app to this whole entire ordeal, because this app allows you to use the steering wheel controls for forward and backwards on music with any app that supports it. So Google Play Music, Spotify, Pocket Casts, stuff like that originally won't work with the steering wheels buttons. Only the built-in music player will work. But you use this, put this app on here, and then it lets you use it for anything else. It also has a setting in here for set on start volume, which is kind of like if you guys have it set up in your car, it can only be so loud when you start the car. The only difference with this is as soon as you hit the volume button, it jumps back up to where you had it. So it's not as good as the OEM setting where it starts at, like, say, volume 12 or whatever, and then when you hit up, it goes to 13 instead of 20. You can enable a speed volume adjust, which I turned off because it's a little jumpy sometimes, but I think that just needs some fine-tuning. It's a very key app if you're going to get one of these units. Navigation, it's some sort of map system that I'd never use. I'm a Google Map user. OEM, despite my initial thoughts when I was looking at these, has nothing to do with the car. It has a bunch of apps that you'll never ever want to use. At least I would never want to use, but maybe this Eye on Road app is something cool. No idea. But anyway, so this vehicle app is the other kind of car menu. It shows the range, distance and start, stuff like that, when you're supposed to go in for service, all that other stuff. This is where I thought that I might find the TPMS stuff, but we're at the end of the list and there's nothing there. Other than that, it's actually pretty speedy, as you guys can see. I haven't had very many problems with any sort of lag or anything like that. The Play Store works, so you can go download whatever you want to put on here. You can download Cooking Fever, Best Friends Puzzles, all the garbage games that you want. and play them while you're driving down the road, but definitely don't do that. So you get settings. Right now I'm connected to my phone, which is the Android AP. You get settings in here for different things. These are just your standard Android ones that you probably don't need to worry about, or not very interesting to you at least. The date and time, if you get one of these, just set it yourself, at least the time zones. You can do automatic date and time, but automatic time zone, it will think you're in China all day, every day, which isn't somewhere that I am. So you've got GPS, driving settings. This is kind of more to the unit itself and not the car. But this allows you to watch a video while you're driving. The reversing X mirror, I'm not sure what that is. I think that might have to do with like a reversing camera, but I'm not sure because I don't have one. Reversing volume, this is going to be set to off originally, where I just set it again, which I don't want it. What that does is it turns the volume completely off when you're reversing. I just have mine set to -5, which kind of puts it at half volume, which I don't know if you guys do it, but I know that a lot of times would turn the volume down to back up. It's one of those, if I'm not hearing as much, I can see better type deals. Reversing trajectory display. From what I've seen in other videos, units like these, if you turn that on, when you turn the wheel, the lines in the backup camera will move on it for where you're supposed to go. The parking radar display is on, even though I don't have that. Extra settings in here allow stuff like a shutdown delay when the ACC off. I set this to 30 seconds just so I could show you guys a cold boot. Where I normally leave it is at 2 hours. So if I run into a store or anything, I come back, it's not booting from cold, it just comes back from like standby. These are amplifier settings. You get a fade, you get a, what is it, an equalizer. I have this set to loud. It gets some of the bass back that you lose when you initially install this. And then you get a fader, which is graphical. You can drag, drop it, put it wherever you want it. Different positions. It's actually pretty neat that you can do it that way. Get steering wheel keys. I don't know if this works or not, but all the buttons do what I want them to anyway, so it's not a big concern to me. You get factory settings, which, if I remember correctly, the password is 126. And this, you can set the logo. You can hit the application button and try and figure out what any of this stuff means. I don't know what any of it is. It came working. I really don't want to mess with it and break everything. And then you have your about your machine. So it's running Android 4.4.4. It's a quad-core processor. Just general stuff like that. So that was a quick run through of everything for you guys. If you want to see more, let me know and I can add to the video, or if it's just general questions, I can throw it up in the forum post. Or if you want to leave comments on the YouTube video, you can do that as well. But this is basically it. Like I said, I'll grab a shot of kind of what my glove box looks right now, and of my little cubby hole where I have my USB extension ended up in my aux. Thanks for watching. Like I said, if you have questions, just let me know, and I'll try to help out as best I can. Thanks, guys. Bye.